Hello everyone, I'm Mahleej. And as many of you must have heard by now about the Las Vegas shooting that happened last Sunday. As many of you must have heard about the shooting that took place in Las Vegas, where a country concert was happening, where a madman just started shooting in a crowd of people. The images and the videos that were pouring in were just heartbreaking, just to see how chaotic the scene was and what these people were going through. Before I go on with this video, I want to send my deepest condolences and prayers to all the families and the victims that suffered through this, and many that are still in the hospitals fighting for their lives. Now, it's been a few days after the incident. A lot of news has been pouring out. I have been trying to watch all different kinds of news and read different articles that are coming from different news media outlets. One thing that I have to really say, which is really shameful to see, is from some of these bloggers, some of these website owners, some of these YouTubers, some of these YouTube channels that will put out anything just to get some views, just to get some hits, and just to get that little bit of $2 or $3 or $4 or $10 that they can earn. What they actually do is confuse the people that are actually watching, because you take away from the narrative that is actually going on and you start focusing people's attention, diverting it onto nonsense issues. And the main issue gets left behind. Now, from all different stories, from all different sources, what I have gathered up, I'm going to present to you. Now, there's many theories by different people. There's a lot of conspiracy theories that are coming out, a lot of people that are asking questions. So let's talk about this shooting, what happened. So the news so far is that this one white guy who is in his 60s named Stephen Paddock is the shooter. First, when the news came out, it was said that the police shot him. Then the news changed and said, no, he shot himself before they even got there. Then the news came out that there was a confrontation between the police and the shooter, and at the end, he shot himself and he died. I know that we are not going to find everything in one day. Of course, the people have to get the evidence together and they have to go around and do a lot of different things before we can come to a conclusion what exactly happened that day. I totally understand that. But there are certain questions that we all need to ask. Looking at some of the video footage, a lot of people were complaining that there were multiple shooters. I heard from a lot of witnesses, a lot of people were saying there was multiple shooters. There was a video that showed some kind of light strobes on 4th or 5th floors. So a lot of people thought that's where the gunshots were coming from. But when you look at a video that was shot right before the shooting, you can see those strobe lights are still there on that same floor. And also the windows were not broken off that floor. So of course the shooting was not happening from there. Apparently the shooting was happening from the 32nd floor, where this gentleman had rented this suite. A little bit about this gentleman: he apparently had no affiliation with any politics, no affiliation with any religious groups. He was a guy who liked to gamble and be in Vegas, and all the people that have been interviewed, his brother or his neighbor, everybody has said that they cannot believe, they're in shock that this guy would do something like this. So we of course do not know the motive behind this. Now there's another story that ISIS came out and said that this was an attack by them. It was one of their soldiers carrying out an attack for ISIS, which the FBI has totally ruled out. They came out and said that no, this guy had no affiliations with them, and they have just totally ruled out that scenario, at least in front of us. A lot of theories that were coming out that he supports Antifa and he's a part of Antifa, and that's why he was there, because obviously a lot of people at that concert were Republican, were Trump fans, and he wanted to take a revenge on them. So that's few of the theories that are playing out right now. We don't know exactly what motivated this gentleman to kill so many people. We can go back and check his record. This guy had no criminal record besides from maybe a speeding ticket. So it does not make sense for this person to go out there and start shooting everybody, unless he was being brainwashed by some people lately, and that's what ended up happening. He ended up killing all these people. Second, they're claiming over 20 rifles that were found in his hotel room and apparently also in his house. Now, to bring all those weapons into your room, Vegas is highly monitored place where cameras are everywhere, especially in a hotel. They will monitor you as soon as you step in till you are leaving your hotel. According to the reports, apparently he was recording the shooting. He also had surveillance in the hallway. So first, I understand he could have put him all in a suitcase and probably put it on a buggy or a carriage and probably brought him upstairs. But the fact that you see one person that is staying there only for 3 days, he must have had to have at least 3 or 4 suitcases minimum to carry all that ammunition and all those guns and everything. Now, let's say he didn't bring all of them at once. He brought few every day. But still, when you're going from the front, I am sure there's a lot of people always watching you. You're on camera. So my question to you is, where is that camera footage? Also, don't forget that he had maids to provide room service to him. So how come nobody even had the slightest idea what this guy was up to? It's very, very suspicious that this guy was able to bring all these weapons up into his room and keep them hush hush for 3 days that he was staying there. The guns that were found in his room, now the argument is that one person could not have been operating it on his own. There had to be somebody with him up there that was helping him. And if you actually think about it in a sensible way, any operation like this is not done by just one lone wolf. I personally think there is a lot more people behind this that had put this whole thing through. Another question that people raised was that a man of his age could not have possibly been able to operate those 2 guns that he was using. It would be impossible for him to be running from one window to the other, to this, to this. Now, the point is that after all this ordeal, what and who does this event benefit? What comes out of this event? And the only thing that I can see coming out of this event is pointing out on your guns. Pointing out on your guns and pointing out on your Second Amendment. That is the only thing that I can see coming out of. Now, under no circumstances, I'm saying that people should not be checked before they're sold guns. I think we should honestly do a thorough background check on these people that we're selling the guns to. Make sure they don't have any kind of mental problems. Make sure they don't have any kind of family problems. Make sure that they don't have any kind of problems before we sell them the guns. But if you think about it, most of these cases that we've seen in the past that has happened, or just the criminals or the shootings that we see go on, most of these people, groups, gangs, don't really buy illegal guns. I mean, like, if you really want a gun, you can go buy a gun in the black market, because there's a huge black market for guns and for ammunition. And since we're talking on this topic, how about we call out our governments for supplying so much money for arms and ammunition to other countries that actually produce terrorists? First, I think we should start by our countries not sending ammunition and not doing arms deals with these countries that are going to use the same things to harm us in the Western nation. So I think they should stop that first, then come after the ordinary people, because guns don't kill people. It's people that kill people. So if you have somebody that is really messed up, is going to kill you. Somebody that is keeping that gun for the protection of their home and their own protection will use it wisely. I can put this comparison into one simple thing. Every time there is a terrorist attack and there is a Muslim involved, we are told by our politicians, stay calm, don't target Muslims. Just because this person did it doesn't mean all Muslims are bad. Well, you know what? Just because one person goes out and does a shooting with illegal guns, okay, does not mean that thousands of people that are responsible gun owners should be blamed for his actions and should have their guns taken away. Okay, the shooting was happening. I'm sure the blood didn't even dry on the floor, and Hillary Clinton was already making this political, as she was saying she doesn't want to make it political, but she was. A lot of these people had no conscience, no soul to wait at least and give respect to those souls that had departed, to make this thing about their agenda. Now, for putting all this theories together, what I personally think, and this is my own opinion, it could be that it's not true, it could be that I'm just thinking La La Land, or I've lost my mind. So I saw some pictures that were revealed from his room. Now, I personally think if the FBI or if the cops or anybody that was on the scene, they would never let anybody leak those pictures. That is most precious evidence that they have right now. They're not going to release that into public. So all those pictures that were being circulated all over social media, I personally think they're fake. They're not real. What my theory comes down to it, putting 2 and 2 together, is that I think this whole thing was staged. And this gentleman that apparently killed everybody was picked to be killed, picked to be sacrificed by certain groups, by certain people that wanted to push ahead their agenda. And this is exactly what is happening. How else would you get people to react? By killing people. Because that's when people and human beings are most vulnerable. They're emotional. You can get anything past them at that moment. This is what it comes down to. I personally don't think that this guy did this all on his own and he was some superhuman that managed to do all this on his own. No, this was a staged shooting that was caused by other people. Now you would say, oh, why do you think this way? Well, you know what? One event that happened in our history that really boggled my mind, because I was like, oh my God, if you were to explain this to even a 6-year-old, that 6-year-old would have questions. When the US Army went and killed Osama bin Laden in Pakistan, in Islamabad, that's fine. I believe that, okay, they went there, but with all the technology, imagine the technology we use, okay? We have cameras, we can record anything, anywhere. Imagine the technology they have. They have 100 times better technology than we do. How come they were not able to capture everything on video? Whatever they had shown us was CG graphics. Do you really want to believe the CG graphics? Because I certainly do not. Show us the proof. Where is the proof? You're capturing the most wanted person in the world, and you're not going to take a picture of his dead body? I mean, you took a picture of Saddam after you killed him, but why not Osama bin Laden? You didn't even bring his dead body here for anybody to question you. What you came up with is like, let's just tell people we threw his body in the sea. End of the conversation. I mean, like, you could not fool a 6-year-old with that kind of story. People are really not putting any effort into their stories anymore. They are not. They're not putting any effort into it. They're just putting it out there, just thinking that we're just sheeps. We're just going to absorb everything and we're going to believe every narrative that they have to tell us. Now, with this shooting, if you are sitting there and you're thinking that government is going to give you the answers, you are blind, you are naive. The FBI is never going to let the truth come out. This thing is also going to play out, die out in a few days. The only thing you're going to see is harsher gun control, more rules, more policies, because some people want to push ahead their agenda. And who cares if people die? Who cares? As long as their agenda gets pushed ahead, as long as they're making money, as long as they have power. Watch them come after your gun control. Once they have your guns, you've lost your freedom to protect yourself. Then comes martial law. Then comes total power control over you, your family, and your generations to come. And that is a new world order. Also, let me point out, one thing that we all know, and it's in public, it's everywhere, that Antifa has called November 4th the Revolution Day because they're going to start attacking first responders, the cops, everybody else. They've all basically called for a civil war. I mean, what are you guys doing to stop that? I mean, you guys should be arresting them and throwing them in jail. This is terrorism. They're telling you. It is like ISIS or any other terrorist group. They tell you, yes, we are going to come and attack you. Yet you just pretend like nothing is happening. The Antifa is telling you they're going to come and attack you. Yet you don't say anything. How come? Are the lives of ordinary people not important to you? What is going on? Like, even Donald Trump being in power, doing whatever, at least he should take some kind of step to put an end to Antifa, which is a domestic terrorist organization. Well, if you like this video and if you agree with me or if you disagree with me, make sure you let me know in the comment section below. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down if you don't like, and also make sure you share this video because people need to know the truth. Till then, I will see you next time.